Did you ever have one of those moments where you wish you could go back in time and talk to your younger self with some very sage advice? Or maybe talk to someone younger and give them some words of wisdom so that they're in a different position, or maybe the same position that you are now, but this way you're helping them out? Well, I decided to come to you from the library today because it seemed like a good location to share two tales of such instances. Recently, I was talking to a young up-and-coming, soon-to-be professional who was just finishing up their advanced degrees and looking for a bright future. And one of the topics that came up had to do with a little bit of money that was saved up in a retirement plan from a job that this person had had for a few years. And the question came up, would it be better to take that money and pay some bills rather than save it for retirement? It was in a 401k. And well, the first thing that came to mind was the power of compound interest. And I laid it out to him. In fact, we kind of walked through a calculation about, it was $8,000, and this person was in their 20s. So what I explained was, yes, you could take the money out. You could use it to pay off some of your debt. Not having debt is a great thing, but keeping in mind that not only would he pay tax on that whole thing, he would also pay a 10% penalty because he was way under 59 and a half. So we looked at, well, what if he left that money in there and it grew at a reasonable rate, similar to what the S&P 500 did, but maybe a little lower. So we looked at 15 years, 20 years, and 30 years. And in those periods of time, that $8,000 would have grown to $22,000, almost $31,000. And 30 years from now, that $8,000 could possibly grow to over $60,000. Once he realized what he had there that could help him for the future, for his future self, he made the wise decision of deciding to leave it alone. The other story has to do with a young nurse I was meeting who was going to start for the first time her retirement plan at work. And she didn't come alone. In fact, she was a little bit confused as to why she was even there, but the reason she was there was because of a veteran nurse that was pretty much dragging her in by the ear and not saying this is a good idea, but coming in with her, sitting her down and saying, you are going to do this. And I asked that person why she did that, and obviously she was flashing back to her own youth. And I didn't go too far in to find out if maybe because she didn't do it when she was younger or because she did when she was younger. Either way, she was very clear on how important it was for someone in their early 20s to start early and really benefit themselves later on in life. Both of these stories illustrate how difficult it is to envision what your life is going to look like 10, 20, 30 years from now, and making those moves to help your future self. If only you had the opportunity of having your future self come back in time and talk to you, I think the decision would be pretty easy.